All right, y'all, what's going on? Hey, look. I'm gonna try something different here for the sake of putting out more content more frequently. Now, I originally wanted to do podcasting, but I didn't realize you had to pay to be a podcaster. And as of right now, I don't have the extra funds to do that. However, I'm gonna do it like this because I this is what I really want to do. Do Let's Plays is fun. It's cool. It's whatever. I remember doing Let's Plays back in the day when YouTube was still in its heyday. We all know the heyday of YouTube from 2010 up to 2016. It's not like that no more. There's very strict rules and stipulations and all that stuff. So I'm doing something here with this new series, and we can put it in quotations, podcast. We're going to call it Memory Lane. And we're just going to go down memory lane and talk about some of the games we've all had great times with in the past, maybe even still today. And as you see, the first episode is dedicated to Happy Wheels. Now, I chose to do Happy Wheels because this game, uh, it took over the world, really, when it came out. Every YouTuber, this is also one of the games that kind of helped develop that heyday of YouTube because everybody was playing it, man. Every YouTuber, from PewDiePie to Markiplier, from Toby Turner to DashEXP, and Smosh and all those guys, they were playing Happy Wheels. I was playing Happy Wheels. I did a Let's Play Happy Wheels some time back. If you want to go back and look at that video, this is a game that came out as a flash game, and I remember it was a demo on Newgrounds by Jim Bonacci, aka Total Jerkface. Now, Total Jerkface became the website that Happy Wheels came on, but he had another game that was out before Happy Wheels called Divine Intervention, and may or may not get an episode later down the line. But when Happy Wheels came out, I remember the demo, you only had like a handful of levels you can play and only a few characters. And I believe the characters you can play was the wheelchair guy, which in this picture is obviously the dude in the wheelchair here, the old man in the wheelchair. And then you have the irresponsible dad, which is the dude on the left, which was my personal favorite character, as well as many other people's favorite characters, because he was the easiest to control, and he also like did that weird kind of levitating float thing where you hit the left and right keys, arrow keys back and forth fast enough, you kind of glide or fly over shit. So you can kind of cheese certain levels with him. And I believe there was a Segway guy and the moped couple, which is obviously the the couple on the moped or motorcycle. People call it a motorcycle. It doesn't really look like a moped. And that was the only four characters you got. I think I don't remember if the effective shopper. No, the effective shopper is was the big lady in the shopping cart. And I don't remember if she was in the demo or not, but I remember being introduced to the game from my cousin, and he showed me the actual website and the fact that there was a lot more people and a lot more levels, and there was even user created levels where the fans can create a profile on the website and make their own levels. And that's basically what helped got the game to be so huge, was not only you can create levels, you can play those created levels that were created by people from all over the world. And some of these levels were insane. Like let's just go down the categories of some of the levels you could play. Who remembers the don't move and heart donation levels? You just don't move. You just watch the shit, you know. And in the victory, which was that fucking red platform with the checkered flag, dun, 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 it would get that every time you would obviously hit it and win the level, but you have to be alive or alive enough to beat the level. Like if you're dead and you still manage to cross that line, you don't win the level. You got to be alive. Now this game, it's those don't move levels and heart donations. I brought those up first because those are probably some of the most creative levels outside of the ones that had, I say, a bigger budget. Because I never created a level, so I don't know if you had to pay for certain platforms or colors and whatnot to create some of those big insane levels. I can't think of any off the top of my head, But a lot of those like those quick easy levels are some of the fun ones to play. Like who remembers the ball throws or the sword throws, you know, or the impossible levels? Those got a lot of attention. Those impossible levels. Um, but then like some of the levels were really creative to the point where like, there was just like it felt like you were playing a level in a video game that like a normal video game, like not just this flash game where you're on a keyboard pushing two buttons. It felt like an actual game you can play with a controller. But this game here, the Happy Wheels was this type of game that was revolutionary and it changed flash gaming. In my opinion, it was one of the biggest flash games that came out and just kind of blew up to everything else. Like they had merchandise, like I believe they had T-shirts and posters and hoodies. They even had a mobile app. You can play Happy Wheels on your phone, and Happy Wheels was huge, huge, and it was free because it was a flash game. You just type in Happy Wheels into Google and it just took you there. You didn't have to pay for nothing, didn't have to subscribe to anything. There was none of that. You just, you know, go to the website and press play. And there you are. There was this whole world of this. And YouTubers loved it too, because not only was it a fast paced, fun, funny, addicting game, but it was easy to record because one, it's like it's just a flash game. So like you didn't really need to hook up so many wires and stuff. Just connect your capture card, excuse me, your capture card to your computer or a software like Bandicam or OBS, and just hit record and boom, there it is. That's all you do. Versus and then and then editing was a lot easier, rendering was a lot faster, uploading was a lot quicker. With these easier games because there was not a whole lot to it because it's a flash game that was you know on the computer, like you didn't have to put in a disk or a flash drive or hook something up. It's just on there. You can type in Happy Wheels or totaljerkface.com just as easy as you can type in YouTube or Facebook or addicting games or anything like those type of websites. It was just its own thing that stood on its own and it took over the world. Everyone was playing this game when it came out. It stood the test of time. I think still to this day, even though people kind of moved away from it, it's still fun. It's still that game you can just pick up and play. You know, like really, there was. I mean, some characters had extra buttons, but really the only buttons you needed to know were the left arrow, the right arrow, and then for some characters a space bar, because some characters could jump, and then Z. I believe Z was the one that ejected you from your vehicle, whether it was the Segway, a pogo stick, uh, a bike. It doesn't matter. Z kind of just ejected you, threw you off their vehicle. That's it. That's the less buttons you need to know for any game that doesn't require a controller. Because there's a lot of games, a lot of flash games are easier that way because I mean it's budget and you're playing it for free. You're trying to get the money based off of clicks and ad revenue and views and whatnot. Either it was point and click or it was just simple arrow keys or WSAD, spacebar, shift, enter, all this type of buttons. But what made this game so great, because not only was it addicting, but like it's just like it was creative. The rope swing levels, the bottle run levels, you know, and then the characters you had. Oh God, I went like 11 characters or something like that. I don't remember how many characters there were. I do my research here. Yes, there were 11 characters. So you had the wheelchair guy, you had the Segway guy, the irresponsible dad, the pogo stick guy, the lawnmower guy. He was a good one too. Santa Claus, the irresponsible mom. It was a mom on a bike with two kids, and then there was a kid in a basket, and there was another little kid on the back end of a bike on like an attachment. Then you had the helicopter guy. Now the helicopter guy is the newest character, and I remember when he first was created, because I I don't remember how many slots there were uh to for total characters because like there was like a gang of them and they only made 11. I could have sworn like this game has been out for as long as it was and as popular as it got. I would have thought like there was going to be a lot more new characters. But like I remember when they brought in the Santa Claus. I remember when they brought in the helicopter dude, the explorer guy, which was a dude in a minecart, so kind of like the Indiana Jones looking character. Remember when they brought him in? The effective shopper I brought up earlier. It's it's a big lady in one of those grocery cart scooters. We call them fat scooters where I'm from. And then the moped couple, the boyfriend and girlfriend on a motorbike of some sort. And they were the ones. It was them and the wheelchair dude to have the fastest vehicle because the wheelchair dude had jets attached to his wheelchair, so you can make him, zip on by. And then the moped couple had actual uh, vehicle, and they had like a boost. I think it was shift. You hit shift and you go faster. And then you got the helicopter guy and Santa who could fly over people. And then everyone else, the worst character to use in my opinion was the pogo stick guy because he was on a fucking pogo stick. He was great for a lot of those impossible levels because they were designed for him. They just put up a pillar and jump over the pillar into the victory without getting killed with whatever obstacle they have. Harpoons, uh, rockets. Those they had those homing mines that floated and follow you around and blew up as soon as they touch you. And of course they had land mines. Of course you land on those, you blow up. Spikes. I mean, you name it. But it's the creativeness of these levels were great. Like I said, I never created a level because at the time I was playing this, I didn't have the patience to create a level. I just wanted to play the damn game, and I was so like addicted to this game. I was as well as most of you. I just fell in love with it, and it was like it had a cult following because there's a lot of people. Almost everyone I knew of this game, whether they played it, watched it, or whatever. Like just Happy Wheels. And when we think of Happy Wheels, we think of the intro with that guitar intro with the pink and blue letters like you see here. And I'm gonna play the intro for you at the end of the level, or at the end of the video. I'm gonna play that just for a little bit more nostalgia. But I could not dedicate the first video to something more bigger and revolutionary than Happy Wheels. There were other contestants when it comes to being revolutionary to be the first one. I was thinking about doing Minecraft, which is even bigger and better than Happy Wheels, and everybody knows Minecraft. Shit, they just made a movie about it. But Minecraft is still relevant today, as well as like World of Warcraft or Pokemon or anything like that. Happy Wheels is free. It was a game that came and went, and it was the time it came in was the best time for it to come in. Like I said, like this helped develop the heyday of YouTube. Like when it comes to YouTubers making those Let's Plays and just videos of them doing commentary of games, Happy Wheels was one of the top ones, and there was other games like there was Slender Man was another top one, you know, and a lot of the creepy pastas, so like Jeff the Killer and SCP and all those things. But like when it came to YouTube, it was really like, World of Warcraft, Minecraft, Slenderman, Happy Wheels, and sports. You know, like you can like when you start watching gamers on YouTube, you're gonna see a lot of sports pop up: NBA, Madden, NHL, MLB The Show, wrestling, UFC. You're gonna boxing like Fight Night. You're gonna see those pop up quite a bit too, because yeah, they're games, they're gamers, they're gaming YouTubers, and those were like the top five, especially for the time that these games came in. And then along came Grand Theft Auto 5, and everybody was playing that one too, but they were still playing Happy Wheels. They weren't taking that away. because it was free. There was no way in hell that this game could have died off fast, as fast as it got popular. The more people talked about it, the more people played it, the better it got. Because Jim Bonacci, I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. The last name is spelled Bonacci. I can only say it's Bonacci. It sounds Italian. I'm probably off. But I don't know. It's not my name. But it came out 2010. Yeah, 2010. And like I said, the heyday of YouTube was from 2010 to 2016, and then from 2016 up to today, YouTube became another powerhouse, like everything else, and it just ruined everything. And what I mean by a powerhouse, I mean like, there's paid subscription services and there's certain strict rules and stuff like this before you can even sign up for an account to subscribe to people, much less upload a video. In a powerhouse, so like there's YouTube TV, so now YouTube wants to compete with shit like Apple TV and Tubi and Peacock and Netflix and all those guys. It, it's just kind of, it's annoying. I'm sorry, but it is. But I'm glad I lived through the time that it did. And like I said, there wasn't a time where you went on YouTube and you saw one of your favorite YouTubers or even someone you didn't know, a video pop up on your YouTube feed playing Happy Wheels. This was that game, and it was easy to learn. It was easy to teach people. It's like, yeah, pick a level, pick a character if there wasn't one automatically assigned, and then hit this button, this button, this button, and then sometimes this button. And that's it. That was it. That was simple. Simple. When you think gaming with a keyboard, how many buttons are on a keyboard? More than fucking 5. So, it's not like a controller where you need to, move the camera around and jump and punch and then do superpowers and this and that or anything like that or combos. No, you want to go forward, then push forward. You want to go back, push back. You want to jump, hit the space bar. Simple. When people think Flash games, it's funny because they don't think Happy Wheels. They think Flash games. They think of like, some of the games like Armor games or addicting games or Cool Math. Those are Flash games. Newgrounds. Newgrounds to me was like the king of Flash games. But Happy Wheels is a Flash game. All done through Adobe Flash Player, which it's not a thing anymore, but you can still play Happy Wheels. They kind of rewrote all their stuff, and this game, in my opinion, still stands strong. I know we've kind of moved into a different like generation of gaming or a different kind of culture or different whatever. We kind of stepped away from this, which is now considered quote unquote the basics. But honestly, I think this game, in my opinion, as a gamer and a collector, this game could have been cool on console. I think I could have had a great time playing this with a controller of some sort, whether it be Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, you know. But I think the game is just fine where it's at with the 5 buttons you need to know on a keyboard, free, on a website, and all you need is internet connection. Play it on a laptop, a desktop, download the mobile app on your phone, play it on your phone. Anything that had a keyboard and internet access, you could play it. There was no reason that this game could have failed with the direction it was going in, because there was blood in the game. So if you're the wheelchair guy and you get hit in the face with a fucking harpoon, yeah, your face is going to be bleeding And there was like I think 4 or 5 levels, and if you go and change the settings to the blood, there was 4 or 5 levels, and the higher up you went, the more realistic the blood looked. I think it was 4 or 5, but that was obviously the last level was the realistic looking blood. It was 3D, it was colored. Because level one, the blood wasn't really blood; it was just like dots, like red dots, just coming out of your body, versus actual liquid form, like blood is supposed to be. you know. And then all the sayings, the irresponsible dad. When the son died, when the kid died, he'd be like, "Damn it," or "Oh, my leg." Every time the old man hurt his leg, it's like there's some of the classic sayings that we can hear it in our heads without even playing the game. We know what it sounds like because we played this game so damn much. There's no way that you cannot tell me you did not play this game or you didn't know this game existed or anything like that, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be listening to this video or this podcast, whatever the fuck you want to call it. You wouldn't. You wouldn't have clicked on this. You would have scrolled right past it. You would have moved on to something else, something you didn't know, like Call of Duty. But this is Happy Wheels. Now, it's like I said, this is the first time I'm doing something like this, and I plan on doing more of these just for the sake of cranking out more content, talking about games that we all grew up in the past. I have this massive game collection that I want to do more with, other than play them and sit them on a shelf. And this whole idea, I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. This whole idea was inspired by some of the podcasts that I listen to, specifically one about retro gaming, and it's called Remember the Game by Adam Blank. Everybody go to Spotify or wherever you get your podcast, because I think he's multi-platform, even YouTube. He's on YouTube, and I put a link in the description to his channels, because he has his podcasting channel and then he has a Let's Play channel. His name is Adam Blank. Remember the Game. I'm shouting him out because I'm pushing buttons. I'm shouting him out because he influenced me to do something like this, and his is a lot more professional because he's been doing it a lot longer than I have. Versus me, I'm just some big dude with a microphone and a computer. But like I said, I'm gonna play this tune nostalgically, and thank you all for sticking around long enough for me to ramble on about one of the biggest games to hit our generation.